Imagine a color you've never seen before. Not a new shade of blue or red, but a truly alien hue that your brain has no name for. Imagine this color is alive, that it bleeds into the world from a fallen star, and everything it touches, it changes. It doesn't want to conquer us. It doesn't want to communicate. It simply wants to remake our world into a beautiful, vibrant, and grotesquely horrifying image of its own. What would that look like? And how long could your mind and your body survive its influence? Today, we explore that very nightmare. Our story begins with the Gardner family, a fragile unit seeking refuge from the modern world. They have retreated to a remote farmhouse, the ancestral home of the family patriarch, Nathan, played with escalating mania by Nicolas Cage. Nathan is trying, with clumsy enthusiasm, to become an alpaca farmer, a man desperately seeking a connection to the earth. His wife, Teresa, is a successful financial advisor, now working remotely while recovering from a harrowing battle with cancer. Her surgery has left physical and emotional scars, creating a quiet tension in their marriage. Their children are islands of their own. Lavinia, the teenage daughter, finds solace in Wiccan rituals, trying to cast protective spells over her mother and a home she feels is already tainted. Benny, the eldest son, spends his time smoking pot and staring at the stars through his telescope, isolated from a family he feels he no longer understands. And then there is young Jack, the youngest and most innocent, a sponge for the strangeness that is about to soak into their land. They are a family held together by love, but frayed by illness, isolation, and unspoken resentment. They are vulnerable, and something has noticed. One night, the sky delivers an impossible gift. A meteorite, shimmering with an otherworldly light, screams through the atmosphere and crashes directly into their front yard. It strikes with a deafening, sonic boom, shaking the house to its very foundations and bathing the entire property in a brief, ethereal glow. When they cautiously investigate, they find a strange, porous rock pulsing with an internal heat. It emits a smell that nobody can describe, a scent both metallic and organic that makes their teeth ache. But the rock itself is just a vessel. It is a shell. What came with it is an entity, a consciousness, a force that has no name, no body, and no motive we can possibly understand. It is only a color, a beautiful, haunting, violet magenta hue that does not exist in our visible spectrum. It is a color out of space, and it is hungry. The next day, the world has already begun to change. A local hydrologist named Ward, who is surveying the area for a new dam project, comes to inspect the meteorite. He's a man of science, but this object defies his understanding. It seems to have crumbled into fine dust overnight. He takes samples of the well water, noting its strange, oily, iridescent sheen. The science is baffling, but the effects are undeniable. The plants in the family garden begin to grow at a supernaturally accelerated rate, producing enormous, oversized vegetables. Yet, when they are cut open, they are strangely gray and unappetizing inside. Bizarre, fuchsia-colored flowers, unlike any local species, begin to bloom in a perfect circle around the crater site. Their beauty is captivating, but it is the beauty of a disease. The color is seeping into the well. It's poisoning the water table. It's infecting the roots of the trees, the DNA of the insects, and the very air they breathe. And it is beginning its silent, insidious work on the minds of the gardeners. The children are the first to truly feel its touch. Young Jack becomes obsessed with the well, sitting by it for hours, talking to someone he calls the man in the well, his eyes reflecting a faint, violet light. Benny, the amateur astronomer, starts picking up strange, high-frequency sounds on his equipment, a piercing digital shriek that no one else can hear. Lavinia, attuned to the land through her rituals, feels a growing sense of dread. She can feel the life draining from the forest, as if the land itself is becoming sick. Nathan's personality also begins to warp. He becomes prone to fits of rage, his temper flaring at the slightest provocation. In these moments, his accent and mannerisms change, becoming a distorted, cruel echo of his own overbearing father, a man he despises. The color isn't just changing the world around them. It is amplifying the darkness already inside them. The infection then spreads to the animals in the barn. The alpacas, normally calm creatures, become agitated and panicked, their cries echoing through the night. One night, the family hears a series of blood-curdling screams. They are sounds of pure agony. They rush out to the barn to find a scene of biological and architectural horror. Two of the alpacas have fused. Their bodies, their very DNA, have melted and interwoven into a single, writhing, pulsating mass of flesh, tumors, and limbs. It is a living sculpture of suffering, crying out from multiple mouths in a unified, eternal agony. It is a grotesque monument to the color's power to twist and reshape life into something unrecognizable. Nathan, his mind reeling from the sight, grabs his shotgun. The farmer in him is gone, replaced by a man forced to execute his own livelihood. He fires, putting the creature and a piece of his own soul out of its misery. The color, having tested its power on the animals, now unleashes its true, unimaginable cruelty upon the family. The event that breaks them happens so quietly, so mundanely. Teresa is in the kitchen preparing dinner when she accidentally cuts her fingers. But instead of reacting, she simply stares into space, her mind vacant, her consciousness seemingly hijacked. A moment later, the color, now residing within her, makes its move. It arcs through the air like a living current of purple lightning, connecting her to young Jack, who is playing nearby. In a flash of light and a sound like wet tearing, it fuses them together. It melts their bodies at the hip, binding mother and son into a single, weeping creature. They are still conscious. They are still themselves. But they are trapped in a shared prison of flesh, forever bound by the alien entity. Nathan, Lavinia, and Benny find them. The sight is so fundamentally wrong, so profoundly horrifying, that it shatters what is left of their sanity. They carry the fused, crying creature up to the attic and lock the door. They do this not out of cruelty, but out of a desperate, primal need for self-preservation. Because the sight of them, and the pained, childlike sounds they make, are too much for the human mind to bear. They can now only listen to the muffled cries of their loved ones, now transformed into a living, breathing symbol of the cosmic plague consuming their home. The farm is no longer a part of our world. It is a full-blown alien landscape. Time itself begins to warp and fold, with hours passing in minutes. The trees sway with a vibrant, unnatural energy, their leaves the color of a bruise. Strange, mutated insects crawl from the ground. Nathan's mind finally shatters completely. The color has burned out all that was him, leaving only the amplified rage of his father's memory. His voice changes, becoming a cruel imitation. He boards up the house, locks Lavinia and Benny in the attic with the monster that was once their mother and brother, and declares with a terrifying certainty that the family must stay together forever. Ward, the hydrologist, returns to the farm. His water readings are off the charts, signaling an unprecedented environmental disaster. He arrives in a war zone. Benny has managed to escape the attic, and he tells Ward they must save Lavinia. He has figured it out. The color's source, its heart, is the well. He climbs onto the water silo to get a better look, to find a weakness, but the color, sensing his intent, strikes him down. He is not killed. He is absorbed. His body dissolves into a shower of violet dust, his life force becoming one more drop of fuel for the entity. Inside the house, Ward finds Nathan, completely gone, holding his shotgun and muttering to himself. It is then that the color finally reveals its true form. It erupts from the well in a massive, swirling, silent vortex of impossible light and reality-bending energy. It is beautiful, and it is the end of their world. The house begins to disintegrate around them. Nathan, in a brief moment of lucidity, sees a vision of Teresa as she once was. He seems to understand. He raises his shotgun, not in anger, but in a final, futile gesture of defiance against the cosmos itself, before the color consumes him completely. Ward manages to save Lavinia, pulling her from the attic just as the house is torn apart. But it is too late. Her physical body is present, but her mind, her soul, has already been hollowed out and claimed by the color's influence. She stands before the swirling vortex, no longer afraid. She looks at Ward, her eyes ancient and filled with a terrible, cosmic knowledge, before her body dissolves into a cloud of glowing ash, finally and peacefully becoming one with the alien entity. Ward, the sole survivor, scrambles into the storm cellar just as the color unleashes its final, cataclysmic burst of energy. The entire farm, the house, the trees, every living thing, is bleached into a featureless landscape of gray ash and dust. A perfect circle of alien desert. A blasted heath. So, what exactly was the color? Color out of space is a perfect adaptation of the core concept of Lovecraftian horror, the absolute terror of the incomprehensible. The color is not an alien in the way we understand the term. It is not a creature to be fought, or a virus with a cure. It is a force of nature from another reality, operating on physical laws our science cannot measure or even perceive. Its motive is simply to exist and to terraform its new environment to be more like its home. It does not hate the Gardeners. It does not even notice them as individuals. To the color, they are simply raw material, like the water in the well and the alpacas in the barn, to be broken down and remade into something new, beautiful, and profoundly horrifying. It is as indifferent to them as a construction worker is to an anthill while clearing land for a new building. The story serves as a powerful allegory for the fragility of the human mind and our insignificant place in the cosmos. The gardeners believe they can control their lives and their land, but they are utterly helpless against a force that operates on a level of reality they cannot comprehend. Nathan's descent into madness is the ultimate Lovecraftian theme. To truly witness the universe as it is, stripped of our comforting illusions, is to go insane. The final scene shows us Ward, the survivor, forever changed. He has looked into the abyss and it has stared back. He smokes, his face aged with a trauma beyond words, and tells us that the color is not truly gone. A part of it has seeped deep into the water table, into the very earth itself, waiting. He survived, but he has become a reluctant prophet of a doom he knows is inevitable. The world is contaminated, and humanity is simply living on borrowed time, blissfully unaware of the impossible colors waiting to bloom from the darkness.